Hi, my name is Jenny Mead. I work for Columbus City Schools. This is my TLI capstone on Get Connected in CCS, Teacher Empowerment through Collaborative Learning. In terms of my educational context, this is my 19th year in Columbus City Schools. I've been predominantly a middle school math teacher. I've taught 6th and 7th grade, a few classes of 8th grade. After about 14 years in the classroom, I moved to Northgate, where I served as the math middle school curriculum coordinator, where I was a teacher on special assignment. I worked with teachers to develop curriculum, professional development, supported teachers in the classroom. After that role, I moved into professional learning and licensure, again, where I'm a teacher on special assignment. I work with teachers to um, grow them professionally. I help oversee CEUs, and I am a member of the LPDC committee. I have served only in Columbus City Schools, so I've worked in urban education, and I absolutely love it. I enjoy collaborating and networking with others. I like to learn about best practices, see how teachers are taking strategies and using those in their classroom. I currently work as a teacher on special assignment, and I really enjoy that role. I've been a Columbus Education Association faculty rep in 3 different buildings. I've been an OEA delegate, and currently I'm a proud member of our local professional development committee, where we work with teachers and administrators on the credentials that they need to be able to earn CEUs to renew their teaching license. In terms of my project, the contextual information is that the pathway I chose was instructional. The competencies, the overarching ones, were adult learning and technological facility, and the pathway specific competency that I worked on was facilitating collaborative relationships. In terms of my growth journey, when I first started, as I was looking at adult learning, one of the areas I was in, I was kind of right here between developing and performing. I was building on awareness, and I was also leading learning activities. Through this project, I have moved into transforming. Not only was I able to design and implement some learning, but what I found really exciting was, as an end result, one of the pieces of using Adobe Connect, I was able to replicate something that we can use in multiple areas in diverse contexts to be able to help strengthen collaboration among the teachers within our district. In terms of technological facility, I was more in the developing area. I was using technology mostly to communicate, and I was beginning to explore innovations through taking workshops and being engaged in a variety of activities. Um, Through collaboration with teacher and just really understanding the need of what we needed in Columbus City Schools, I've now moved more towards transforming. I've been able to lead technology innovation in supporting being a Google district and having wireless. And then I've also used the technology to support and lead teachers in a variety of environments. Again, Adobe Connect has been a great resource in helping us to do that. In terms of my growth journey for facilitating collaborative relationships, I have been in between these two areas right here. I understood the policies, I was able to build consensus, and I was starting to articulate ways that we can collaborate. However, sometimes it was difficult because there would be mandates from the district, or this is what professional development looks like, and it happens this way and on these days. And so through this process, I've been able to reflect on my role, my leadership role, and how I can impact some decisions. I've been able to work with the LPDC to think outside the box and be able to provide a new way that teachers could earn CEUs to be able to renew their license. And then I've also been part of the pilot program to get that up and going. One with Adobe Connect, but then the other one just really getting teachers to come together and share best practices and learn from each other, rather than always assuming that we need to go elsewhere to learn. The synopsis of my project is that Columbus City Schools installed wireless in all of the buildings. We also found many schools were beginning to purchase Chromebooks to support. A lot of it was the online testing. So naturally, teachers began looking for ways to integrate technology, use collaborative resources within their classroom. We've had a lot of roles change within the district, and so the support of technology no longer exists where we did have dedicated people to do that. They also had not created a professional development plan to support the wireless that we have and the hardware that was being purchased within the buildings. This project, although it was not what I originally had thought I would work towards, it actually ended up becoming a great way to establish a collaborative network of educators who are sharing best practices, focused on technology, but also learning how we can use technology as a platform to continue to learn from each other in a variety of ways. Teachers who were involved have become empowered to build their professional relationships, and a community of professional learning. I'm finding teachers are connecting on their own and they're saying, hey, this is what I've used, or I really enjoyed your presentation at X, Y, and Z. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you've done? We've always had a great network within Columbus City Schools, but it didn't always focus on professional learning from each other. It may have become common interest or discussing students or similar feeder patterns, maybe some instructional strategies. But this is how I've used the technology. This is what I've learned. Here's the results for my students. Let me help you get started and let me help you grow professionally to be able to move on. So the collaboration strategies, especially with using Adobe Connect, have started to be replicated within the district. In terms of a description of the challenge, teachers did not have the training to support the wireless installation and purchase of Chromebooks within the district. Working with teachers in other capacities, so I work with teachers who are doing national board certification or working to earn credits to renew their license. I found many were searching for professional development to help them integrate technology into their content area. The importance of this is it really helps to empower teachers to take ownership over their professional development. In some conversations with colleagues, they were saying the district should have provided this. And I would say, well, what if we provide a forum for you to learn from each other and you don't have to wait for a district-wide for something to be put together? You establish what you need, how you need to learn it, and how can you share it with others. So educators often seek support from outside agencies. I thought it would be important that many solutions were found inside our district and from teachers who may be across the hallway or on the other side of town. Some of the things to help where we got started is the idea of getting connected. Throughout the fall and the beginning of winter is where people started talking about I need support in technology. So what I was able to do is I provided some support sessions on, and some other people in my office. We all worked together to support Google Apps for Education. We provided some training to get started. And in that workshop, someone said, wouldn't it be great if we had a technology conference where teachers were sharing their own ideas? And so what developed out of that was the March 12th activity. We held it on a Saturday. We were not able to pay any teachers to attend. We didn't have any funding. And so what we were able to do was offer CEUs for people to attend. So it was from 9 to noon. We found that 80 people were willing to come on a Saturday. Some of them were sharing their best practices and some were learning from each other. We had a couple different formats. There was one considered a table talk, and it was about 15 minutes where you would just show up at the table and it would have a theme. Someone would lead it. They would share some resources. They could ask questions. We did what was called a demo slam, where there were a variety of presenters that gave a 2 to 3 minute overview of a way a product or a form of technology could be integrated into the classroom. And then finally, we had the traditional mini session, which were about 45 minutes on a variety of topics. And they were all presenters. Every single presenter throughout the day was an employee of Columbus City Schools, sharing how they use a piece of technology within their classroom or within their building to engage students. It was well attended in terms of on a Saturday, but many people started saying we need more. And so we held a second one in the fall. There were 140 attendees. Closer to 200 had registered. And with the start of school, I think some people on the last Friday before school had started, they not as many came as had originally registered, but we were excited about that. Feedback was upbeat and positive. We have 2 video summaries, and one of them I'll show to you in just a little bit. Again, we've done 2 sessions that were focused on the leadership of people collaborating and sharing. One of the things that developed from the collaborating of the one in the spring, and just before that, was where people were saying, I can't always get to one location so that we can learn from each other. There's got to be another platform. And so we struggle with webinars. You know, sometimes people aren't engaged. And in fact, a webinar that's a push out isn't as collaborative as being able to have people same time be able to communicate with each other. So one of the things as a member of LPDC, I was able to take to the committee, and as you can see, here's the agenda of what we were proposing as a member of the e-learning committee, which is the group of teachers, some administrators who have come together and share best practices and how can we really support each other. This is just a piece of our role. It is not our full support within what we do. But we were able to get the LPDC to approve the ability to use Adobe Connect for live webinars to allow facilitators to have collaborative sessions. We discussed how we would be able to record the attendance and so that it would still meet within the guidelines to be able to award CEUs to participants. So this was an exciting policy change that was approved by a joint committee made up of teachers and administrators who are the decision-making body in terms of credits that can be used to renew their license. We started the pilot with using Adobe Connect. In the spring, we had 3 sessions, and it was not focused on technology. One of them was focused on technology, one of them was in mathematics, and one of them was on some concepts involved with school improvement. This fall, we have about 12 that will be piloted, ranging anywhere from world languages to science, social studies, and then strategies to use with struggling readers. The plan and implementation was to engage teachers in finding and sharing resources to support technology integration. I found that one of the things I had to do was instead of just encouraging it, I had to secure a time and a framework for people to be able to meet. The other thing is people would be willing to meet, but tons of hands weren't being raised to say, oh, I'll lead that session. Sometimes people weren't really feeling like they were an expert. So in the format that we established in March for using the Get Connected, having a table talk where you're saying share something for 15 minutes is less threatening, and in fact you find more people wanting to lead. The other thing is between the Google training and the Get Connected and then these initial Adobe Connect sessions that we're having, you are noticing that teachers will say, well, I'll share, or I have an idea, or at the end when you open up the floor, somebody will say, well, I do something very similar to that, and here's how I do that. So that's been very exciting. Through this process, I was able to work with a committee to develop some leaders through Google training. So many of the people who have helped do that are also people in roles that are similar to mine, teachers on special assignment. However, what is really exciting is after the August session, we're having other teachers come up to us and say, I want to be involved. I want to be a leader. I want to be on e-learning. So we are currently working to have some live Adobe Connect sessions where we share the platform to be able to say, here's what I'm using. The other thing is within the Get Connected Technology Conference, we're not having the same presenters every time. We're finding people in new areas or new areas of expertise who are willing to say, well, I'll share what I'm doing in my classroom and how that's working with my students. The other thing that eventually had developed out of this was working with the LPDC to provide a framework so that we can meet remotely and so that we could use technology as a platform to collaborate. And it can be in many different manners. It's not just solely on how to use technology, but technology is what is able to connect us to be able to brainstorm and come up with solutions. In terms of effectiveness, the impact of the conference, the face-to-face, has grown. More people are participating. Using Adobe Connect, the fact that we had 3 in the spring and we have 14 scheduled for the fall, which I anticipate increasing, is able for people to understand that they don't have to leave their classroom right when the bell rings. They can connect live with a teacher across the district and share some strategies. I'm going to show you now a small video that captures an essence of what we did that day. All right, well, welcome to the Columbus City Schools Get Connected in CCS Technology Conference. How many of you have ever been to a demo slam before? Okay, for those of you who haven't, buckle up. You're about to see something fun.
My name is Jeff Jones. I'm an assistant principal at Woodward Park. And one of the things that we've gone through over the past year, as probably most of you have, your buildings have gone wireless.
From the bottom, all of these are completely interactive and they're 3D, even an ear. So you can look inside the ear canal. Isn't it cool? It is really pretty cool.
Instagawk is a great resource. Check it out. Slam!
I'm going to a new school. So this will be my first year there, so I wanted to at least learn a little more so I could share it with my staff at my first staff meeting. it's really important that we connect our children because this day and age with the 21st century skills, our children have to really be prepared. They're